Good morning, everybody. There's a lot going on out there, so let's get to it. Over the last 2 weeks, we've talked about how government can benefit by revaluing the price of gold up. But there are two other parts I haven't addressed yet. One is the international part, and one is the banking part. So let's start international. One of our intrepid clients said, "All right, Greg, so we do it here. What about China, Japan? What about the mismatch in prices?" So here's how this could resolve very quickly. One way is this. Let's just say our government again says we'll buy every ounce of gold for $20,000 an ounce. I'm just making up a number. What will happen over in China almost immediately? People will buy gold at $3,300 an ounce and sell it to the government at 20 grand an ounce. Well, that would happen in a nanosecond with the computers. And suddenly the price in China is going to come up and meet the price in the United States. Same with Japan, same in Europe. There wouldn't be what they call arbitrage anymore. The other way they could do this is, what if they coordinated it? You wouldn't have to do much. There's one central bank in the United States, the Federal Reserve. There's one in Europe, European Central Bank, Bank of Japan, People's Bank of China, Bank of England. They're your motherships. What if they got together? Wouldn't be hard, a 5-person phone call. All right, fellas, how much debt do you have in Europe? And how much gold do you have? How much debt do you have? Japan, China, Britain. Why don't we come to an agreement as to what the price will be and simultaneously do this? That's the other way this thing could play out. And then everybody reduces their debt the same way the United States did. Now, how come we might have a hint that this is coming? About, I don't know, 2, 3 months ago, I talked to you all about the Bank for International Settlements moving gold to a tier one asset. Quick recap. Who's the Bank for International Settlements? They're the central bank of the motherships. There's one above those big guys, and they're in Basel, Switzerland. They set the rules for everybody else. But what did they do last month in July? They moved gold up to a tier one asset. What does that mean? We all know banks need collateral. Let's pretend you get a loan on your house. What's the collateral? Your house. You don't pay, they come get it. Well, your house doesn't work very well for international trade. So for decades, the only tier one, pristine, risk-free collateral for global trade has been the US dollar and US treasuries until last month. Now, gold has moved up to a tier one asset. So is it side by side with the dollar? Or are they getting ready to replace the dollar with gold? I don't know. They're not calling Greg in Albuquerque on that one. But if they knew that as a matter of policy, we're going to be devaluing our currency and we want a weaker dollar, and Trump has said this openly to everybody, and Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, wants this, well, how can it be pristine, no risk collateral if it's being devalued? And what if there's maybe more coordination going on than we think? You have to have another source. So now they move gold up. Well, there are only so many tons of gold in the world to be used as collateral. So if you can't change the amount of gold used as collateral, what could you change to expand the collateral for global trade? Change the price, which is exactly how banks would benefit from this too. If gold at 3,300 bucks an ounce with this many tons is worth this much, make it 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, expand your collateral. Now, banks can loan off of that collateral, which is exactly what they want to do because they want to earn interest on those loans. Wouldn't banks want to earn more interest on more loans with the collateral being gold? So we're getting hints that something is afoot. Do I know when this is going to happen? No. Am I certain it's going to happen? No. Never certainties, just probabilities. But remember, this trick has been done in the past. This isn't new. We're not just making this up at Zanetti Financial. We saw it last time in America. Franklin Delano Roosevelt did it, and it all looked like it was great. But there are always secondary effects, and it's not always perfect. And that's what we're going to address next week. There is no free lunch on this thing. So who's going to pay the price? That'll wrap up the series next week. And until then, I'll turn it over to Walt.